Hello there, welcome to the show. Before I get started, I thought I'd just flag that this will be the third last episode. don't say you haven't been warned. I am going to wrap up this season in a few weeks. I was actually looking back and thinking, how long have I been doing this season for? I don't even know. I was like, "Oh, wow." I've been doing it for almost 6 months, I think it'll be once the time it wraps up to episode 50 on the final episode, which is super exciting. This for me is, such a passion project, but it is not something I have a huge amount of time available for. I am usually recording it with the sound of white noise rolling in the background when my child is asleep, and naturally, anyone who has jumped into podcasting will know this has been my career for years. I know very well that it is no small task. But I love this show so much. I really love that people reach out to me to say they're enjoying it. And I have dreams of this being a 52-week-a-year show. But for right now, I had to have a little talk to myself the other day and say, okay, I appreciate that you love this very much and you want to keep it going. And it is something you're passionate about and it keeps you on the tools because that's the other thing that, as you sort of progress in your career. And now I'm running networks and the bulk of my career was spent making shows and I don't get to do that bit anymore. I'm sort of doing all of the spreadsheets and the planning and the strategy and the all of that kind of stuff. And so this is a really lovely thing for me to do outside of hours. But I ain't got a whole heap of outside of hours to dedicate to things. So I sort of had to have a talk to myself because I do also run a business and I've been focusing on some stuff there and developing some new products. And I thought, okay, this has to wrap for a bit so I can focus on the podcast course and the stuff there. And then I'm going to come back again and start up another season. So nothing worse than a show that you enjoy just disappearing. So you have been forewarned and forearmed. And if you do turn up every single week and listen to this show, I just want to say a big thank you to you. I really appreciate it. This is something that I do in the dark on my own while my child is asleep. And to know that it is resonating with people is just a really wonderful thing. So I really appreciate you giving me your time because I know it's precious. So thank you for listening to this show. Today, I'm going to talk about the near misses, the moments that you have with your kid where you think to yourself, that could have gone so much worse. And that feeling of kind of your life flashing before your eyes while it is happening. The reason I bring it up is because the other day I went to the park. I mean, isn't this our life? When I've never been to the park more in my life. And never have I cared so much about good parks. You think when you don't have a kid and you're just rolling through your life, you just drive on by them, you don't even give them a second thought. Now you are just desperate for where is the best park? Where can I go? Where there's a lot of stuff to do, where I won't be bored, where she won't be bored. Just a lot of thinking about parks. Anyway, the other day we went to the park and it had been raining in the morning. It was sunny. I thought things would dry out, but when the equipment's a little bit wet, and that's always perilous if you haven't brought a change of clothes with you. That is something I've never done. I do pack undies and shorts now that we're in toilet training mode and there's, maybe an accident might happen. But you see those parents whose kid goes down a totally moist slide and then they pull out of their bag the full outfit that they've just packed in case. I'm like, you're a smart person. That I've really got I keep thinking that I'm gonna do that, and then I always forget. But it was sort of wet and she was kind of rolling around and then this like bigger kid came along and she was playing with her and that was really cool. And there was a little bridge in between two sections of the play equipment. And it was a bit rickety. And to be fair, it was a little steep on either end so that when she first stepped on it, you'd have a bit of a whoa. But she seemed to be holding on and everything was going good. And we'd been there for, gosh, I reckon 45 minutes or something. She's talking to this other kid standing on the landing and I wanted to drop my keys and my phone off. I had them in my hands and I had nowhere to put them. And there was a bench just at the side of the play equipment. Would not have been sort of 3 or 4 meters away from where she was. So I said to her, hang on, I'll just go and put my keys and phone down. And there was the mum of the other child who was kind of over there. We were sort of casually talking. And I hear this, "Mummy," and I turn around and she has slipped off the bridge and she is hanging with one hand onto the railing on the side of the bridge. For a start, I froze because I was like, "How are you doing that? Like, how are you holding your entire body weight up with one hand and not dropping?" And at the same time, my brain is saying, "Can you stop being surprised and move your effing feet?" Like, now is not the time to stand in wonder. Now is not the time to be stationary, looking at your child in trouble, thinking to yourself, "What an incredible feat of strength." Now, this all, I'm sure, happened in a fraction of a second, but it actually felt like I had waited too long. The other mum was slightly closer than me to her, and so she kind of ran and ended up holding her up. But in the moment, it felt like ages. It was definitely at least 10 seconds that she was holding herself up. And I still cannot believe, when I think back to it, that she did that by herself, that she did not drop. It was a massive drop. Like, it would have been a good couple of meters or something down. Like, she would have hurt herself for sure. But the moment when you just think, "Oh my gosh, that could have been so bad." And then the guilt of walking away to put your phone down. Why did I leave my child on a piece of play equipment? Now, I didn't go to the cafe. I walked to the seat that was next to the play equipment and walked back. But then you think to yourself, "I should never have just walked away. Like, that was my mistake." Then the guilt that I felt about the moment that felt to me like 3 minutes. And especially when the other mum ran to get her, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that should have been me. Like, why did I not run faster?" Now, I'm sure if I saw a video of it, I would have moved really quick. But I do feel like I just froze in time at that moment. And then you beat yourself up, and then the movie that runs in your head on repeat that details all of the millions of terrible scenarios that could have happened if it didn't roll out the way that it did. And the thing is that doing something like that, like, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, you can't be attached to your child. And I also don't wanna be helicopter parenty. I really don't wanna stand there and say, "You can't do this by yourself unless I'm there." I want her to feel confident to try things, and she has to fall and fail and all those kind of things. But, I mean, she just doesn't have to fall 2 meters, you know what I mean? And that poor kid hanging on with one arm. I felt so sorry for her. I just felt like she was looking at me with these terrified wide eyes, and I could just see the look of like, "Why the F are you not here? Why am I hanging off a piece of play equipment, holding on with my one tiny hand while you stand over there staring at me?" You know, the amazing thing, and this, I guess, when it goes okay, is what the whole point of the exercise is, was once I got her and had calmed her down, she then, after she'd kind of regrouped, said, "Mummy, I'd like to try again." Oh god, I'm about to cry. You know when your kids do something and you're like, I don't know, I don't even wanna say I wasn't there for you. I was there for you. I walked away for 2 seconds, but in your heart, you feel like, "Oh shit, I let you down." And then they say something, like, amazing that's just, like, makes you so proud, and you're like, "Oh, you're being so brave and independent," and then that just makes you feel even worse for not being. Oh my god. Oh, but that sort of moment, you're like, "Okay, these things have to happen." Like, at one point, she's gonna hurt herself, I'm lucky that I've never broken a bone in my entire life, and I think as a result of that, I am unbelievably petrified about that. I don't even know what to anticipate when it happens to her. Like, I don't know, do you go into shock so that the pain doesn't really hit you? So at least I can feel in that moment while I'm comforting her, like, it's okay. I don't know. Like, I just don't know anything. So I'm really scared about that happening to her. But at the same time, like, they're kids, they got to grow up, they got to get bumps and scrapes, they've got to feel confident. It's the only way she's ever going to kind of stretch herself enough to her borders to realize, "Oh, okay, that's going too far." Like, "Oh, no, I'll hurt myself if I do that." Like, I know it's all a learning, and I do not want to cotton wool wrap my kid at all. But bugger me when you do something like that. You just think, "Oh god, can we never leave the house? Can we never leave the house?" You know, the one near miss that still haunts me to this day, oh god, that I can still see in my mind, was when my kid was learning to eat. She had to be under 1, I reckon, if not very close to 1, and I was bringing her bits and pieces over to her high chair, and I brought over a knife to cut up the grapes or whatever else I was giving her because she wanted some more of something. Then I went back into the kitchen and I started washing up. And I'm always, like the kitchen is literally there. Like my house is tiny and I'd be like a meter away from her. But she would sit there and eat and I'd kind of go about my business doing all sorts of things and like turn around and check on her. For some reason, at this particular moment, I did wash the dishes for quite a while. And I think because she was at that point, like really nailing the eating thing, naturally not going to walk out and leave her for 3 days while she's having a meal. But like she was, she was doing really well with it. So I didn't think I needed to check on her all the time. And I'm literally a meter away from her. So if something goes wrong, I'm going to know about it. Unless I've left a knife on the high chair, a sharp knife, I might add, and she's picked it up. And I turn around eventually after I'm done scrubbing whatever piece of crap I'm scrubbing, and there's my almost 1-year-old child sitting in her high chair with a giant sharp knife in it. Oh my god. How can you be so dumb? How did I put that down absent-mindedly and walk off to do the washing up? When I turned around and saw her brandishing a weapon, oh my god. But somehow not sticking it in her eye or her mouth or cutting herself, like not even picking it up from the sharp side. She picked it up from the handle. In what world is that the situation? I turned around, I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I mean, that movie that plays in your head about all of the things that could go wrong, that will keep you up at night. That has kept me up at night for like the kid's 3 now. Like I think about that more than once a week. It is a real stick-arounder, that one. That gives me nightmares, that. I just don't even wanna see it in my mind's eye anymore. I can actually see the way she looked at me when I turned around, and just that moment of, "Oh my goodness, all the different ways that this could have gone so terribly wrong." And then you start thinking, like, what is it? Like, why did I deserve this moment of luck? And, like, life happens in different ways, like, right? So there's nothing really more poignant about it, but you do feel because it's such a gigantic miss that someone somewhere was looking down on me. I can only hope that my mum, maybe she's just hanging around and she's like, "Listen, I'm gonna help a brother out here because you really need to stop putting knives on your kid's high chair and walking away." Thanks, mum. I appreciate that if that was you. Oh gosh, I'm sure there'll be many of not near misses for sure. But touch wood, we just keep the disasters to a minimum because there's truly nothing more annoying than a hospital visit, isn't there? Like, there's nowhere even comfortable to sit. You're like, right, I'm here for 7 hours, and like, this is the most depressing environment, the most uncomfortable chairs. Like, I don't want to go to, of course, I don't want to go to the hospital because she's hurt, but also the decor. It's just really not where you wanna be, on a Saturday afternoon. I wanted to wrap up the show with a couple of emails that I've gotten from people. My email address is in the description of the episode. You can always send me, an email, and I love to hear from you. It's always so lovely. Helen actually emailed me recently. She has joined a group of donor sibling parents for her donor and has also met one of the parents who was also a solo mum, and has said it's just been a really nice point of connection and really interesting to see other siblings and for those kids to meet and for just her to have a relationship with those people. I thought this is a really good idea, and it's something that maybe I'll look into and maybe I'll talk more about on the next season of the podcast if I've gone down that road, because I have had a few people talk to me about that, and I just think I don't know, originally I think I wasn't nervous about it. I think there was something holding me back. I'm not quite sure what it was. Maybe it's just time. I'm like, do I have time to cultivate another relationship right now? I can't actually cultivate any more friendships. But the idea of, seeing other kids, I would love to know, are they similar to Olivia? You know, how much of Olivia's personality is the donor? I see a lot of similarities between Olivia and me. And when I was a kid, what I was like, Olivia is very much like that in many ways. But I'd be so interested to see if there were similarities in looks, in personality, and those kind of things. And Olivia's just such a lovely little kid. Would love to kind of have that connection for her with other kids as well. I mean, to be fair, you don't know what you're gonna get, do you, from the parent side of things? You might match up to other donor parent families and be like, "Oh, you're assholes." But I have not actually met a single person who's gone down this path who I haven't liked, because I guess there is an element of real, you've got to be a certain type of person to go down this road. You have to really want a child. If you're on your own, you have to really, I mean, that's a big thing. And I do really feel connected to other people who've done that way. But I think I'm gonna give that a go. So we'll see. Watch this space. Thank you, Helen, for reminding me about that. I think it would be really lovely to do. Shout out to Josh too, who emailed me after the episode about the belt incident. If you haven't heard that, please go back to that. It's the episode where I talk about my child framing me for a crime I did not commit. And he was actually talking about the handoff between partners when you have a relationship and you're co-parenting and the relationship split up. And he was like, my daughter was such a rambunctious kind of kid and would kind of always be running around, and she'd have like bruises and things everywhere. And he was always terrified that someone was going to say, like, is something happening there? But yes, I appreciate when parents hear the level of like help in your voice when they reach out and sort of say that it's going to be okay, and that happens to other people too. I think you brought up a really interesting point, which I believe so much, and that is the idea about thinking about whether you're a good parent, and the fact that, you're even thinking about it, asking questions. You can't really not be a good parent if you are doing those things, because it just means you care, and ultimately that's really the best we can do. Someone once told me that you only have to get it right 30% of the time, and I think that is a low, 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 low bar. But if that is what we're working with, I'm pretty confident I can overachieve that. I'm pretty confident you can too. So it's always nice to set yourself a goal that's achievable so you can feel like you achieved it and move on to the next one. I mean, 30% seems low. I'm like, mate, I would be very disappointed in myself if I was only doing this well 30% of the time. But anyway, if that's all we need, then at least we can feel good about overachieving in that regard. Thank you so much for listening. As I said, if you want to email me, you can find the email in the description of the episode. Would love to hear from you. And if you're enjoying the show, please share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it too. There's plenty of back catalogue episodes, even if they're just catching up now. They can get up to speed and then they'll be ready for the next season. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.